You are listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yes-Sir-FM, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
Deeper in love has this power that pulls us like magnet. And may the force that be with us forever be right here to guide us.
Love, peace, and light. You're now tuned into the most informative and inspirational show on a Thursday night, where elevation and transformation is the goal. You're now locked into Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. I am your host, Lawrence-Coutee. I am Ausar Sara. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody that tuned in last week and for the first time listeners, welcome to Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. I hope everybody's having a great week so far as we get ready to go into the weekend. I believe it's the holiday weekend that we're coming up on, 4th of July. I'd like to, just wish everybody safe travels as you go up and down the road or traveling loved ones and going to visit and barbecuing and popping fireworks, whatever you do. I hope everybody has a good holiday weekend. Tonight's subject is called Be Ye Transformed by the Renewal of Your Mind. And that comes from the Bible of Romans 12:2. And I want to get into also what I call breaking the curse of negative speech. But we're going to start out with the mind. There's an ancient text called the Kabbalion, and also called the Emerald Tablets, that was written by a god or a higher intelligent being. This tablet goes back thousands of years before the written Bible. It's called the Emerald Tablets. It was written by this mystical figure named Tahuti, as the ancient Egyptians called him, Tahuti. Some people called him Thoth. He showed up in Greece. He showed up in ancient Rome. And he was Hermes. Hermes twice the great, 3 times the great. But he was over high alchemy. He was over the constellations. Tahuti was over speech, and he wrote. He was the writer. So anytime you see the ancient bird in ancient Kemet with the long beak and the scroll and the pen, that's Tahuti. But he came about writing called the Emerald Tablets and the Kabbalion. And one of the first things in the Kabbalion, and you can do the research and go read the laws, the Hermetic laws, the 7 Hermetic laws of the Kabbalion. And the first Hermetic law was the all is mind and the universe is mental. So everything in existence came out of the mind of God, out of the mental ethers. It says, let us make man in our image and our likeness. And that's Genesis 1:26. So right here, we're saying that God is making man in his image and in his likeness, okay? So God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it and on it, including man. So out of the mind of God, all came into existence. Going back to everything in the all is mental. The universe is mental. Psalms 82:6, ye are gods, children of the Most High God. And then Jesus Christ is speaking and saying, is it not written in your law that ye are gods? So why do I start with that? Because I'm trying to get you to understand that if God is using these mental laws and God is making man in his image and his likeness, then you also have the power to bring about things in existence through your mind and you by using thought. And then I just quoted Jesus, the Christ, is saying, is it not written in your law? So what is law? When we talk about law in the metaphysical, esoteric We're not talking about rules and regulations, laws that govern the land. The definition of law is a statement or fact dedicated from the observance to effect that a particular natural or scientific phenomenon always occurs if certain conditions are present. So basically, they're saying that a phenomenon, a scientific phenomenon, always occurs if the conditions are present to bring about that said phenomenon. So we're using law. And you hear me all the time, and we talk about when we're dealing with the law of attraction, we're dealing with mental law, or we're dealing with mind over matter. So it's the use of willpower to, okay, let us define mind over matter right quick. Mind over matter is the use of willpower to overcome a physical problem. Okay? Willing something into existence. Bringing it about in the mental, in the mind. The all is mental. Everything is mental. Okay? So, if you have a problem to overcome, then if you understand how to go inside yourself and to think about that problem. See, things about it, we always have problems. It's either two things you're going to do. You're going to face it, or you're going to fall apart. You will come about better to think about whatever is going on, don't panic, and think it through. And normally, the answer to your problem is there if you take your time and to think it out or think about it. The answer that you want is there because it's in the mental plane. I tell people all the time, these ideas, these inventors, these people who come up with inventions, or you come up with a recipe for something, or you come up with a job, a business, this is coming out of the mind. And if it's floating in the ethers and it's mental, then don't be surprised. Have you ever thought about something, or if you're an artist, you're writing on a song, for instance, but someone comes out with a song just like, or a lyric just like you were writing to, and you're like, man, how did they get my stuff? Well, they really didn't get your stuff other than that it was floating around out there in the ethers, and all they did was tapped into it and pulled it down. Okay? Now that's real heavy when you think about that, because it's floating around in a thought form. Okay? See, when we're talking about the law, that's just it. It's law. There's no hocus pocus. There's no spookism about it. It is law. It's a principle that, when applied, will bring about a desired result. We say all the time that knowledge is power. And then I say, no, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is a bunch of information. I got a whole bunch of books and I do a whole lot of studying, and all of that is fine. But that don't make it power. That doesn't make it knowledge. It only makes it information. It only becomes knowledge when I apply said information and use it and get a desired result. Now I'm empowered by it. Now it's power. But just having a bunch of facts and quotes, that's not power. We must always understand that, because I think sometimes we get caught up in, okay, I know this, and that. If you're not using it and getting the desired result, then it's not power. Okay? So getting back to the mental state, and we come into the law. The law of attraction says thoughts become things. See, if you begin to work with these universal laws and these universal principles, then you'll understand that all the law of attraction would state is that thoughts become things, and what you think about most, you create in your life, whether you're doing it consciously or subconsciously. Now, the title is Be Ye Transformed by the Renewal of Your Mind. So at some point in time, you got to understand that your mind or your thoughts need to be renewed. Everything that is created came into existence, came out the mind of God or the mind of man. Is it not written in your law that ye are gods? And some people think that's blasphemous. In the esoteric, in the metaphysical, we will say that God is in you. God is in you. You are in God. You are part of the all, and the all is in you. Okay? That's not blasphemous. You know, and I love using the Bible text because a lot of us came out of that religion. So when you begin to look at these principles, and I keep quoting Bible verses, then you're going to see the correlation, how it correlates to the law of attraction, because, you know, Reverend Ike said this, that the Bible is a very metaphysical book if you only understand it, because it's written and Jesus taught in parables. You know what I'm saying? It's a hidden meaning that we don't understand, that it's really talking about something else. If you truly understand it, that the law is all in the Bible. Because the Bible itself just means some papers, a papyrus. The word Bible is ancient and Kemet. They call it the sun papers or the sun papyri. Some people will say it's the basic instructions before leaving earth. It's a rule and guide to guide man, to keep him on with a moral compass, morally and moving and teaching lessons that we all can learn today. So I'll be quoting different things from the Bible just to show you the correlation of the law of attraction and universal laws. Okay? Everything that you see around you, the chair you're sitting on, if you're driving in the car right now, the car you're driving, the bed you sleep in, the bed you're sitting on right now, the clothes you wear, etc., comes out of thought, music, architecture. Everything started with a thought. It starts with a thought, and then that thought produces an action. I'm hungry. I keep thinking about food. There's two things I'm going to do. Either I'm going to go in the kitchen, make me something to eat, or I'm going to grab my car keys and I'm going to go to a restaurant. But I first had to think about I'm hungry. Or I had to think about I haven't eaten today. Then it proceeded in action. Then therefore, the thought came. And then after that, the action came. It's even in the choices that you make. Because life itself is nothing but the sum total of what you created that was really choices. Everything in your life right now is a result. Where you're at in your life right now, where I'm at in my life right now, is the result of choices and thoughts that we made. Okay? Now think about that for a minute. Example, I chose to go to school. I chose to drop out of school. I chose to go to the military. I chose to get married. I chose to have a baby. You know what I'm saying? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are choices. A wise man once said, learn to control your thoughts or someone else will. Now we're talking about mind control. Drive this type of car. Wear this kind of shoe. You know, listen to this type of music, man. Everybody's listening to this. Listen to this type of music. You know, vote for this candidate. You know, believe in this type of religion, et cetera, et cetera. So I have to ask you, are you thinking your own thoughts, or is someone suggesting thoughts for you? And if someone else is suggesting thoughts for you, that really means that they're controlling you because they control you through thought. I did a show about the control matrix a couple of weeks ago. And that whole show was just talking about how they control you through fear. How does negative thinking affect you? Remember, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Remember that. Remember that a lot of times you will read a verse or you'll read something that talks about the mind or it talks about the heart. The mind and the heart is interchangeable. Sometimes it be talking about the hearts of men, and sometimes it might be it's changeable. It's really talking about the mind of a man or the thoughts of a man in his heart, in his mind. So if I flip that around and I took that scripture says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. What if I flipped it and said, so as a man thinketh in his mind is he. Man is what he thinks about all day long. So how can we be transformed by the renewal of the mind? First, you got to understand that your thinking must be renewed, because it is the old way of thinking that has gotten you into the condition that you are in right now. And that's either good or bad, positive and negative. When we talk about the universal law of attraction, the law knows, it doesn't know any difference. It only responds to what you think about the most. If you think about poor health, and I heard Reverend Ike say this when you listen to infomercials, and, you know, why do they always play these infomercials at night? You know, cancer, diseases, and they play them late at night, and because they're trying to sell you some type of pill, you know, some type of medicine, and you need to get on this right here because this works. And, you know, they use that, they play it late at night, you know what I'm saying, to get really in your subconscious mind, because they know a lot of people can't sleep at night. Millions of people suffer from insomnia. They can't sleep. So what are you doing up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning? You're watching TV. You're watching infomercials. They're trying to sell you something because they understand the power of the mind. We're dealing with scientists, man. They understand that at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're really supposed to be asleep. So your subjective mind is open. Now let me deal with mind right quick. I'm gonna go. Let me stop right here. Let me go to mind, and let me tell you how the mind works when it comes to this. There's a mind, a universal mind that is all, that is everything, that is omnipresent and omnipotent. And these are titles of God because mind is matter and mind is everywhere. Everything is mental. Everything that was created, I just said a while ago, came out the mind of God, of this creator. So there's a mind that I'm speaking to you with right now. I'm aware that I'm speaking to you in this radio format. And then there's another mind that's going on right now. It's my subconscious mind, and my subconscious mind is recording everything that I am saying. It's just recording it. It knows what I'm thinking. It knows, is this a positive vibrational thought? Is this a high vibrational or a low vibrational thought? And it's just recording. It keeps record of everything I say. Now I'm going to show you how powerful the mind is. The conscious mind is what you use every day when you're just rational thinking. But the subconscious mind is always working. Your mind is working when you sleep. You're not aware of it. You're in a dream state. But your mind is always working, and the subconscious mind is recording. So when we're dealing with universal law, and universal law says it knows no difference, it only responds to what you're thinking about. So like attracts like. If you think about poor health, what's going to show up in your life? Poor health. If you think about doom and gloom, what's going to show up? Doom and gloom. Okay? And I'm going to show you how dangerous that is in a little while. But I just wanted to get you to understand that everything that's really moving you and what's being created is in the universal mind, but the subconscious mind is the one that retains it. It's in your psyche, it's in your soul, and it is what manifests. It's the power of the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is so powerful. That's why people can hypnotize you. And people think, that's fake. It's not fake. If you go to a hypnotist right now and he puts you under, He can videotape you. You won't believe the things that you'll be doing. He'll be telling you to bark like a dog. And they do it at some of these little shows out in Vegas, or you go to some magician show. They actually do it. They will put you under in a subconscious state, slow your brain down. And that's why meditation is so important. You know what I'm saying? Because it slows thoughts down. It slows. Millions of thoughts go through our mind today. I'm thinking about the job. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about I got to get the brakes done on the car. I'm thinking about her. I'm thinking about him. I'm thinking about such and such. Millions of thoughts go through our mind daily. And like I said, the subconscious mind is recording everything. It's recording positive thoughts. It's recording negative thoughts. Law of attraction says what you think about most, you will manifest it in your life. It will show up sooner or later. Poor health. Think about sickness and disease, which I teach all the time, that when you talk about dis-ease, that's just what it is. It's dis-ease that has crept inside your body. Every disease starts in the mind. It starts in the mind, and then it shows up in the physical. That's the same thing I said earlier, that if man has to create something, he first must create it out of a thought. And if you're thinking about negative energy, if you're eating the wrong foods, if you're tensed up all the time, this is normally going off of your emotions and your thoughts. So these things show up. And like I said, Reverend Ike, going back to the infomercials, he said, turn that stuff off. And they'll pop on while you're in the car. Have you ever heard bleeding of the rectum? Yeah, something crazy. But you're listening to this stuff, man. Stomach, this, and you're thinking about it, and you're not aware that you're thinking about it. If you even hear it, if you hear someone else do it, you know what I'm saying, talk about it, it goes into your subconscious mind. That's why we say we rebuke all negative talk. We don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to think about that, because I don't want to entertain that in my subconscious mind and it show up later on, because we're dealing with law. We're not dealing with spookism, like I said, hocus pocus. So you're thinking about poverty. You're thinking about lack. I don't got no money. Okay? Even the fact that you say I'm broke. I'm jumping into the power of the tongue, because really they're interchangeable. You're speaking, you're thinking, and you're speaking, and you're creating your own reality. So you're thinking about lack all the time. I don't have enough. The universal law of attraction. The law says, okay, all he thinks about is lack, so let's give him some lack. He thinks about being broke all the time, so let's give him some more broke. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about fear all the time. I'm thinking about danger. Somebody's going to rob me. And then one day when you're at the ATM machine and someone comes up to you and says, give me your money, you ain't been thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? You don't think you've been thinking about that, but you really have. I'm going to tell you another thing you shouldn't do. And I know I'm not calling no names. I don't call no names. But I know somebody who sit up, and I tell them all the time, why are you watching these shows about murder? 48 hours or whatever, first 48, such and such murdered. And like, man, you better start watching all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't understand what that's doing to your psyche, first of all. And then, like I said, it shows up because the subconscious mind, the universal law, is creating these realities. So our whole thing is to say you must begin to change your thinking. And if you change your thinking, you'll change your life. You have to change your thinking from a negative thought pattern to start thinking positive thoughts. We live by faith and not by sight. Well, what is faith? Okay? A complete trust or confidence in someone or something. For the people who read the Bible, what is it? Faith is the assurance we hope for and the conviction of things. Okay? When we're talking about manifesting and using the power of the law of attraction in the mind, it's like, well, you don't have to see it. You don't have to see it with the physical eye. You don't have to see it with the physical eye, but you must see it the mind eye. Okay? You have to see it in the mind's eye. If you can see it in the mind's eye, then you will hold it in your hand. That's one of the things that we say. When you have mastered this technique, when you have mastered this technique, you can bring what you're seeing in your mind's eye, and you can bring it into your reality. Now, I'm gonna pause for a minute, and I'm gonna tell a story before I go to break, and I'm gonna show you how powerful negative thoughts affect people. I know a friend of mine, and sometimes we carpool to work, and all he does is talk about black. All he does is talk about being broke. All he does is talk about he's working a job and his wife ain't helping him. And we go to the grocery store sometime. We get off work. We work overnight. And one day he went in there and he bought he was trying to save 30 cents on a can of green beans. And I told him, I'm like, man, you trying to save 30 cents? And he's looking at the cheap meat. But what I want to tell him is that, man, if you keep acting, if you keep penny pinching, and you keep feeling like you broke, and you keep trying to get bargains, you're not living on a vibration and thoughts of abundance and money, because you think poor thoughts, and that's just money. But the poor brother talks about his poor health all the time, and I was getting ready to go to work. He was coming to pick me up because, like I said, we carpool. He's coming to pick me up, and then he's not calling me because he's in the hospital now. Because all week long I kept hearing about I don't feel good, and this is bothering me, and this. And I wanted to tell him so bad, man. It's like, you better stop speaking. You know what I'm saying? And thinking these things. You understand what I'm saying? I tried to tell him. You know what I'm saying? But and I know that he will not change his condition as long as he keeps thinking about poor health, and not only thinking about poor health, but speaking about it. He doesn't even know that the more he thinks about it, the more he thinks about it, his health, his money, and everything that's negative, he's attracting it into his life, and it is wrecking his life. And I can't get him to stop and see that for nothing. And I can go on and tell you horrible stories about people who were actually thinking negative thoughts, thinking doom and gloom, and the same thing they thought about they attracted. I think it was Job in the Bible said, the thing that I feared the most has come upon me. And my whole thing is this, Job, for you to even say the thing that I feared the most has come upon me, that one little part in the scripture lets me know Job was thinking about this thing so much that it finally showed up. And he confessed it out of his mouth that the thing showed. So, with that being said, I'm going to get ready to go to break. And when I come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, but we're going to talk about how do you transform? How do you be transformed by the renewing of your mind? I'm giving you the metaphysical and the law and the principles of why, but when I come back from break, I'm going to show you how to transform your life. I'm going to show you how to transform and come out of that old way of thinking to have more health, to have better health, to have more money in abundance. I'm going to give you the tools you need. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Listen to the Get Global Network original show, Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee, on Yes-Sir-FM, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time. Yes-Sir-FM is one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network.
We're back on Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. Today's topic, be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. We're also talking about breaking the curse of the spells of speech. Before we went to break, I was just going over and I was just talking about how the universe is mental and about how everything, what we're at in our lives right now is the result of our thinking. It's the results of what we spoke into existence, getting into those curses. But it's a lot to do with thought. And I was just going over thought before I left, and I wanted to come back in and, like, I always break it down, but I have to empower you and tell you and say, you know, Lawrence, how do you change that? You know, I realize what you're saying and it makes sense. You know, I don't think, I know I think negative thoughts, but how can I change that? How can I empower myself? Or how can I use the law of attraction? And I'll start by going into it. It says that what you got to do is that you got to use the power of visualization. Talk about the universal law of attraction, that thoughts become things. What you think about most, you attract into your life. I have testimony. I have students I've worked with out there. They've told me, and I know for a fact, that their lives have changed once they understood these principles and these universal laws. But we're going to go a little bit deeper. A lot of people think about, okay, all I got to do is think positive thoughts or think a certain way and I'm attracted. But there's other tools to that. And one of the tools you can use is the power of visualization. Now, visualization is the formation of mental visuals and images. Okay? Visualization is the formation. You're forming something in the mind, in the mental, through visual images. Basically, you're visualizing yourself doing, being, and having everything that you want in your life, okay? Now, the key to that is to use the power of the imagination. Now, the imagination is the faculty or action of forming new ideas or images or concepts of external objects not being present to the senses. That's deep, and I'm going to show you how to break that down and how to use that, okay? Concepts of external objects not present to the senses, forming new ideas or images. We are trapped in a third-dimensional reality. You hear me talk about the matrix, that this is not real. You'll hear the word in the spiritual circles called Maya, that it's an illusion. What traps us into the third-dimensional reality? What makes what we think real, real? The wall over here is solid. It's solid because it's a bunch of molecules moving at a high speed or a high rate that makes it matter. If I could speed up my hand and slow down the vibration of those molecules, then my hand can go through that wall. Okay? Now, that's on some X-Men stuff. We'll get to that, later. Well, don't trip out. Oh, Lawrence, he's going to teach us how to be the X-Men. He's going to teach us about our superpowers. I am going to teach you about your superpowers. But right now, I'm going to show you why you're trapped. You're trapped into the five senses of what? Hearing, seeing, tasting, smelling, and touching. Hear, see, taste, touch, and smell. This is what makes up your reality. Okay? This is what makes up your reality, because I can feel this desk. It's real. I can smell the food, so when I taste the food is real, okay? I'm touching it. I see it. That's my car. I see it, so my car is real. That is what makes up your reality, okay? Now, if I was using imagination, all right, let me say this. I love this. When I talk about faith all the time, you know what I'm saying? I always say, feel as if the thing has already happened. What do you want to do? Start there. See yourself with it. Believe that you have it already. Have faith that it's on the way, or even better, have a know that you already have what you desire to have. Okay? Now, the imagination, I love this verse too. We live by faith and not by sight. I don't care about what you see right now. I don't care that you don't have a job. I don't care that your health is poor. I don't care about the negative. What I'm telling you to do in order to reverse that, to be transformed from that, all you have to do is see it in the mind's eye in detail using the imagination. You have to see it in the color. You know, I always talk about I'm in a white suit, or I got white on, and I'm in the Bahamas, or I'm in the Virgin Islands, and I'm walking on the beach. And I see myself. I'm out here in the water, and the sun is setting. It's the golden time of day. I hear Frankie Beverly playing in the background. I feel the breeze. I can smell the salt water. I'm using my imagination. And if I do that on a consistent basis, I can move certain things. You don't have to wonder. God is omnipresent and all of that. I'm dealing with science. God, call it what you want. That the thing that I think about most, and I'm thinking about it in detail, I'm thinking about it in color, I hear the song playing in the background, I smell the food, that what I just did, I just performed alchemy. I just created magic, because it's going to happen. And you can do the same thing. If you master the art of the imagination, you will create from a mental vibration or matter to bring it into a physical state. Okay? And I have done it. I have done it a few times. And if I can manifest, and the law of attraction says, you know what, you're trying to attract something in your life, why don't you just try to attract a parking space? I remember when I first read The Secret, I didn't know what the law of attraction was. When I would go to Walmart, it sounds trivial, but I said I want to park up front. I want a parking space up front. I don't care if it was 150 cars. When I pulled up to Walmart, I always parked up front. One time I said, I don't want nothing but red lights. I want green lights, rather. I went driving on a lit street of light every half a mile, or I went through light, green light all the way sometimes. Just little things I would start to experiment. I play guitar. I want to play guitar. My dad got me a guitar. I wanted another guitar. And I said, the next guitar I get is going to be a black one. I worked at the hospital one day. This guy I knew named Greg, he was a nurse. He was going to teach me how to play guitar. He's like, Lawrence, I got a guitar. You kept saying you want a guitar for you. He said, man, come on out to the car. When he went out there and he opened up the trunk, he had a cover on it. Before he pulled the cover off the guitar, it was a black electric guitar, pretty much exactly how I'd already envisioned. These are little things that I put in, and these are subconscious mind thoughts. Now imagine if you did this on a consistent basis. What could you manifest in your life? If you want good health, you must think about good health. You must speak about good health. Okay? Not, oh, my back feel bad, I'm cramping up, I got pains. Okay, that's fine. But the Bible says, let the weak say I am strong. Why are you even confessing that? out of your mouth. Okay? You got to feel like it's already done. Okay? If you want to demonstrate good health for someone else, this is how you do it. If pray for this person, pray for them. All on Facebook, we need prayer, such and such. This is how you do it. This is how you demonstrate on yourself, if you want to heal yourself or you want to heal others. The only thing that you have to do is see that person that you're praying for, the boy, the grandma. You have to see them healed. By your faith alone, you are healed. But you can visualize them well. You have to see them walking. You don't visualize them while you're praying for them in a sick state, on a sick bed praying for them. No, you take that thought or image out of your head and you see them walking around and a miracle will take form. A lot of this stuff, disease, is a mental block. I read about a story about a woman who hadn't talked to her sister and she was dying of cancer. And she didn't have much long to live. And the woman told her, when was the last time you talked to your sister? And she was like, I haven't talked to her in over 10, 15 years. And the woman was like, call your sister. And they talked on the phone and they cried. And when the woman went in to have some follow-up tests to see how far it spread, the doctor looked up at the EKG, looked at the machine, and the doctor said, oh, my God, the tumor, it's gone. Why? Why did her healing take place? First of all, she released it. And we walk around all the time and we hold on to old trauma and old energy. And when I'm working with my students and someone comes to me for help, the first thing I'm going to ask you is tell me about your childhood. And I got to go back there, as painful as it is, because a lot of things happen to us. Abuse, trauma, and we sweep it up under the rug. We try to put it out of sight, but until you deal with it, until you make peace with it, until you release it, it will show up in the physical. So I have to go back, and I take them back when I'm working with someone, and I got to go through that to make sure that they not only move on from it, but release it. This is a feeling universe. It's a feeling universe. Feel as if the thing has already happened. If you want to manifest it, all you have to do is see and believe. Faith is a very powerful thing. We always talk when we were in church to take it to God and leave it at the altar. When we say leave it at the altar, that means once you've released it, once you've prayed about it, once you've seen it, and you believe that you're going to get it, then why do you keep going back every other day praying the same prayer, trying to get the same thing? It's like if God really wanted to give it to you, he couldn't even give it to you. Why? Because you didn't have faith, the perfect faith, to leave it there when you first asked for it. So he can't give it to you anyway. So when we start dealing with the law of attraction and we start dealing with the power of visualization and imagination, it's giving you the tools to help you with your prayer. It becomes a perfect prayer because not only do you see it, but you feel it. You actually have to get excited for it. If I want a job, and I'm going to just give out some examples. If I want a job and I don't have a job and I've been looking for a job and I've passed out all the applications I can, I've called all my friends. The next thing I got to do is I got to go into a mental state and I got to see myself with the job. That's the first thing I got to do. I want that job working here. I must see myself putting on the suit, driving down there, and walking in those office buildings. I'll go there. I'll do even better. To help me visualize, I'll go to the lobby of the place. I don't even work there yet. And I will walk through the hallways, and I'll go through the lobby, and I'll see where the receptionist is at, and I will visualize myself coming to work next Monday. And I will do it over and over and over again till I can feel it. How you doing, Lawrence? How you doing, Kathy? She's the receptionist. I hear Kathy calling my name. Next thing you know, phone call. Mr. Coutee, we want you to come in Monday to start your paperwork. We're going to get ready to go ahead and start you. How does Monday sound? Sounds great. And the thing about it is, I knew it. So God helps those who help themselves. You were created in the image and likeness of God. You were given power and dominion over the fowl of the air and the fish of the sea. I give you power. Let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. What is Christ? Christ is a title. Christ is not a name. Jesus Christ is not a name. The word Christ means he who is anointed. Anointed. I'm anointed. You are anointed. You have power. You were made in the image and likeness of God. So what can't you do? Why you can't be successful? Because of the way you've been conditioned to think that you're not worthy. The first thing you got to say, I am worthy. I am worthy of that. I am worthy of love. I want a relationship. I can't find no man. Or girl, I'm one of my people I was working with. This girl, she ain't gonna say no name. This woman, she attracted the same man. And not only her, I see it all the time. Oh, I only date bad boys. I only date thugs. I only date this type of boy, this type of man. And you wonder why this type of man keeps showing up. Might be a little younger. He might be a little older than the last one, but he still got the same characteristics of the one before and the one before that. Why? Because you keep attracting him or that type. First thing we say when we're manifesting is, what do you want? Put it on paper. I want to work here. I want this. I want this business. Okay, know what you want, because the universe can only go on with the signals or whatever you're thinking about. So you've got to be specific when you're dealing with the mind and working with these universal laws. You've got to know what you want. You've got to be very specific. You know, if you're trying to look for a mate, what do they look like? Oh, they're tall. They got this. They got that. I'm telling you, I've seen it time and time again. The thing that you think of, that you thought of, and you put detail in, and you believed, and you worked on the visualization, that thing shows up. I have testimony after testimony after testimony. Again, this is metaphysics. Well, what does metaphysics mean? Metaphysics means beyond the physical. Meta, beyond. Physics, the physical. We're dealing with beyond the physical world. Again, we're not trapped into the five senses. And that's what your definition of God, because really God, you cannot, God is not even, what is God? That's a name, but it does not describe what this omnipresent force in the universe is. That's why we deal with physics. Well, they're saying that mind and matter and a thought. Do you know that a thought can be held? And if that thought is held, then that thought can register on a monitor. I can show you the power of your thoughts by hooking up your brain to a machine. The Secret talked about they hooked some electrodes up to a track runner and told the track runner, now, even though you're sitting in the seat, I want you to run the race in your mind. And when the guy started thinking, he ain't moved a muscle. He's sitting in his seat. The machine showed his muscles firing. And he was actually running the race in his mind. But everything that he was doing in the mental, the muscles were firing. The brain was firing. I'm trying to tell you, you are more than your skin. You are more than what you think you look like. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. This is law. We're dealing with universal laws to take ourselves from misery to happiness and abundance. And guess what? You deserve it. You are a child of God. You are a child of the universe. You deserve happiness. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve money in abundance. You deserve to travel the world. You deserve to see this beautiful world, go to different countries, eat different foods. Because if this God that we're talking about is real, what makes God real is that he can live through us and experience his own beauty and his own creation. So I need you to get on the airplane and go down to the Virgin Islands. I need you to go to Africa. I want you to go to China and study Qigong, so you can come back, learn it, and teach people over here how to heal themselves. You understand what I'm saying? Now, the God thing, you don't have to think I'm blasphemous saying that you are God, because you have become that. You have become that image and that likeness, because that is truly who you are when you know your purpose and you have a knowledge of self. As the ancient Kemetic would say, man, woman, know thyself. Know who you are. As I get ready to wrap this show up, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm asking everybody today to come with me. You can contact me on Facebook, Lawrence Coutee. You can contact me on my other site on Facebook, Ausar Sara. I want you to contact me, and I want someone out there that's listening to this show to start with me tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 1st. I want you to come with me 21 days of speaking and thinking it into being, into transformation. I want to gather people on a conference call, but I want us to do it. We do affirmations together, because what I'm telling you is there is power in numbers. And that's why prayer circles is so powerful, when two or more are gathered in my name, or if two touch and agree, then it is. But if we could all get on the same frequency, we can manifest some things together. I know you have your own business. Do unto others, you have them to do unto you. Some of you out there got your own businesses. I pray for your businesses. Why? Because I'm sowing a seed. And you reap what you sow. If you want something in your life, give something. This is law. Money is currency. Currency is another word for energy. If I want money and I'm broke, why don't you go give some money away? And I ain't talking about a lot of money, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the amount. It comes from your heart. If your heart is right, if your heart is pure, you will free up energy and money will start coming to you. That's why philanthropists, they give away millions of dollars. And then as they give away millions of dollars, their stocks go into billions of dollars. It's law. You reap what you sow. You give in order to receive. Not just doing it to receive, but you doing it because you understand the universal principles. So for 21 days, as we start on choose July, because July is the 7th month. 7 is the number of God. God created the heavens and the earth, man, and everything else in 6 days. And on the 7th day, he read it. He rested. 7 golden candlesticks. 7. So the summer solstice is here, but in the month of July, and for 21 days, I want you guys to join me, and we're going to do affirmations, and we'll monitor each other, and we'll say, hey, man, what you're manifesting, let me work with you, and let's switch our energy. As I conclude the show, I hope I gave you something. I hope you kind of understand how the mind works. I hope you understand that if you really want to transform, you want to be transformed, in the renewing of your mind, then the old mind must leave. The old you must die, a symbolic death. And you must be resurrected. You must be born again. That's what born again really means. The old you don't think like that anymore. The old you don't speak like that anymore. Life and death proceeded about the power of the tongue. I talked about my friend who always talked about his health, and his health deteriorated even more. We don't speak these things. It's not what goes into a man that defiles him, it's what comes out of him. Very powerful. The power of the tongue, life and death. Speak life into your business. Speak life into your health. Speak life into your relationships. See it and steal it. If you can hold it in the mind's eye, you will hold it in your hands. And finally, I'm going to leave you with this verse right here, Philippians 4:8. It says, finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is good of rapport, whatsoever is great of great virtue, whatever is good of praise, it says, think on these things. That's in your Bible, Philippians 4:8. So basically that told you right there, think good thoughts. Whatever is good, man, think about joy, think about love, think about your abundance, think about that new car you want, and see it. See yourself in that car. You deserve that car. And I don't care how expensive that car. If you want that car, you're going to manifest that car. If you want that house, you can manifest that house. Like I said, I've heard of countless stories of people using visualization boards, using the law of attraction, using the Bible, using their spirituality, and really living the life that God wants you to have anyway. I came that you would have life, but not only life, I came that you would have it more abundantly. I thank you guys for listening to the show. I hope you guys contact me and get on board with the 21-day manifestation and transformation of speaking and thinking of good things and putting good energy out there for our lives to be transformed. You guys stay with me. I'm just getting started. I thank y'all so much for supporting Whole Mind, Body, and Soul. I hope and I pray that it's giving you what you need. And until we meet again, I love to leave you how I greeted you. Love, peace, and light. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
Been listening to the Get Global Network podcast of Whole Mind, Body, and Soul, hosted by Lawrence-Coutee. You can hear Whole Mind, Body, and Soul Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Pacific Time on Yessurr-fm, one of the original member stations of the Get Global Network. Listen to Yessurr-fm and other member stations of the Get Global Network on the go by installing any of the Get Global Network apps, like So Metro Magazine, Grassroots Salute, Agtown Nation, or Big Red Radio Nation for your cell phone. The apps are available for download on both Google Play and iTunes app stores. Take the time to subscribe to our podcast via iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, or the Spreaker Podcast Network.